Okay, good morning students. Today we are continuing with Regina Passion online teaching on mathematics. My name is Okafon Emeka Patrick, and today's topic is a continuation of what we did last week. So we are given a problem with this data and is referred as a district data. So what are you expected to do? The question says you should calculate the mean correct to 2 decimal places and the standard deviation. Being a district data, you are not expected to create the class interval. That is the mistake most students normally do. So in that case, if you look at how the data runs, we can now start with 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, instead of creating a class interval. And if you create such class interval, it will make this to reduce out either to 4 class interval, which is wrong. So based on the frequency has been identified, and then from the definition of mean, we say summation of fx divided by sum f. And the summation of fx, that is frequency multiplied by the score. This shows the total of 3253. And the total of the frequency is 50. So by the time you divide summation of fx divided by sum f, will give you 65.06. And also you are asked to calculate the standard deviation by this formula, which is in your lesson note. Then sum f of xx, this is the fourth table. So by the time you add it, it will give you 211,733. So by the time you add all, that gives you the result divided by 50, and then the total mean divided by 50 and square it and take square root. It will give you 1.36. That's for that. Then we now move on to histogram. So what is this histogram? Mind you, histogram is quite different from bar chart, because histogram, the bars are joined together, for example here. But in bar chart, the bars are separated. You must take note of that. So what are we to achieve from this histogram? We can now use this histogram to estimate mode of a given group data. So for you to do that, what is important is a graph of frequency and a class boundary. So graph of frequency and class boundary will give you histogram. For example here, how do we calculate that class boundaries? You are given interval 1 to 5. So in this case, you now add 1 to 0. 1 to 0 known. 1 to 0 divided by 2. That gives you 0.5. So that 0.5, add it to this to give you 5.5. The same thing, if I'm interested in this second interval, I'll add 6 plus 5. 6 plus 5 divided by 2, which is 5.5. So here it becomes 5.5. So if I'm interested in this, to create the upper class boundary for this, 10 plus 11 divided by 2 will give you 21, which is 10.5. Here it becomes 10.5. So you continue like that. This will be 10.5, this will be 15.5, this will be 15.5, and this will be 20.5. And this is 20.5, and this will be 25.5. This is what we call the class interval equation. So in that situation, once you have your frequency and you have that your class interval, which will run like this. That is from 0.5 to 5.5, so on and so forth. You now get your histogram. And having got that histogram, how do you get the mode? The mode, when you see the highest bar, draw a diagonal line which touches from this point to the next to the bar, and draw another diagonal line which touches from this to the next bar. Where they intersect, you draw a line down there, and then read your mode from this, and that is all. So we find that you must have used your graph to demonstrate this, to get the exact value of your mode. And that is what we are expected to do in this discussion. So take note and go through your lesson note and ask necessary questions where we don't understand. Thank you very much.